And it's a surreal event to go from, you know, literally being up here watching TV to 2 minutes later, basically just having my family survive. As you can imagine, we've although it's been a while since we've told the story, but we've told the story a few times with our friends, and after a while I was getting tired of talking about it with everybody, but it is therapeutic. It does help to relieve the actual stress of it all a little bit, and to know that people want to know, and they want to be,
And they want to help.
they want to care, and they want to help. It was an especially dark night too. I mean, because it was one of those where you had those storm clouds when you see them, and it's the low dark cloud that you see. And normal night, other than the weather for us, it was Monday night, right?
Yeah, I had worked 11 hours that day, and I came home and wanted to get comfortable, so I had put my pajamas and robe on.
I just remember seeing like the lightning.
And you don't really think
There was so much.
it's going to happen to you. And we fortunately took heed to the warnings.
Well, this happens kind of often, so I was just like, oh, I just had to go to the basement. I'm gonna go up to bed in like 30 minutes. So it wasn't anything different than normal. I should have put shoes on. None of us had shoes on.
I just remember the power going out, and then Dad was still upstairs.
I was watching the news and happened to turn on WGN, and they had spotted on rotation on their radar that was just west of Coal City. The TV's going on, and the sirens went off probably 15 minutes before, like they're supposed to, thankfully, thank God, I guess. So when I came downstairs, it's not to make fun of it now, but the power did go out. I started complaining because the sump pump wasn't going to run at that point in time. That was really my big complaint at the moment, and I basically happened to walk on next to one of the window wells, and you could hear, it wasn't a freight train, it wasn't anything like that, it was just a vibration, a humming noise. So, that's when I'm like, everybody get away from the windows, covered everybody up with a blanket.
Well, we were kind of huddled all on top of each other.
I just remember hearing like the windows crash and like the glass break, and just thinking like, wow, this is actually happening.
I'm hovering over my children and my wife and the dog.
I was praying during it. I don't know if anyone else was, but I definitely was sitting there just thinking to myself, and God, just please let us be okay.
I think it's my faith in God that I really didn't even get to that point, because I just have always felt secure and protected. And so, because I could see all of us and touch them, I knew no matter what, we would be okay.
I mean, I basically, initially it happened, there was a loud as the windows blew in, the girls, I think it was Abby, I don't know about the others, Abby screamed. I don't know if you remember that or not, but, and then after that, within moments, and this is probably where the time gets lost a little bit, that's where you hear almost like a truck or something hitting a brick wall. And that literally was probably the house being taken away.
As soon as it seemed calm, the wind seemed calmer, but it was still raining a lot,
Yeah.
and there was still water coming in, a lot of water. Abby, I remember you saying, I'm getting wet here, can we move a little bit? So
It was a matter of
we
moments.
just kind of shifted.
You first have that stunned, that nervous energy is really probably how I would describe it for me. Still not really thinking
Right.
what happened. I mean, obviously I could see we had damage. I mean, there was no doubt about that. But until I got up and actually looked around, I couldn't. Renee had asked me, what, do we have any damage? And
I said, can we get up the stairs?
and the stairs had been one of the bathroom had collapsed over the stairs, so we couldn't get out that way. And but you could see enough to know, if I could see outside, that there was nothing there.
Yeah,
And-
you didn't let us in on that though.
No, I know, because I was still trying to deal with it myself.
Yeah.
But, and then, I just remember telling myself, I'm amazed at how much water is coming in, how hard is it raining outside, and then it dawned on me that it isn't the water that's coming from the outside, it's from all the pipes that were sheared off.
We didn't take
Yeah,
shoes
nobody
down,
had
as
shoes.
Allison said. This is something we do, and then we come back upstairs and everything's fine, so we didn't have any shoes on, and with all the glass everywhere, we couldn't move.
And we were trapped, all the window wells were buried, so with the stairwell, we were stuck.
Yeah, we had a couple of people stop by and yell in, are you okay? And we said, yeah, we're fine, and they said, okay, well, we're gonna go check on some other people.
I had neighbors who, their concern was not themselves at the point in time. They were worried about us. We were the ones who were trapped in the basement, and, they're the ones who were walking around and trying in pouring rain to get us out. There was no emergency crews yet. It was too immediate, and thankful for them.
How did we get out?
Oh, one of the neighbors, I don't know who, I don't remember, pulled it.
It was very strong.
Yeah, we literally lifted our arms up, and then he just was like, whoop, and then set us down.
Whoever had to help carry me out of the window, well, I give a whole lot of credit for. So,
And then you kind of turned around and you're like, oh no, this is kind of actually happening.
They smelled gas in the house, and so they had to get us out quickly because it was still lightning out as well, and raining. So once they were able to pull all of us out and the dog, we were standing outside just looking around and at how much our house was gone. And it was basically we were in a state of shock.
if I had waited a minute or two longer, I don't know what would happen to me. If it would have been 2 hours later, we might have all been sleeping, and I don't want to even think about it, I guess, but when it comes down to it, I don't know what would have happened. They never found any of Renee and I's bedroom furniture. We never found any. So you can only imagine what that would have meant if we were in the bed.
It was very sad to see how quickly everything you own can be stripped off your land and taken away from you. When you go downstairs, take your keys, take your shoes, your purse, your ID. We lost all of our social security cards, all of our
Financial records.
all of our financial
Car
records.
titles, everything.
We realize that the 5 of us here are what's the most important things in your life, really. It was good to see them and be with them, and to have Joe's dad drive down from Shorewood to pick us up. All 3 of our cars were damaged,
Total.
and there was no way we could have gotten out.
Keys.
Right, and we had no keys because we didn't take our purses or
They had
anything
no
down.
identification period. We probably, within an hour after that, were headed back to his place, actually. All my neighbors were okay, and I think the person really initially that had probably the hardest time with it is Abby. And she won't. Well, Abby, I always say that because, Abby, I'm not trying to embarrass you, but we had to stop at, what is it? Gas station,
Casey's.
Casey's, because you were hyperventilating. You were having problems with
And
it.
Allison had to go to the bathroom.
And Allison had to go to the bathroom. And I'm not saying it to be embarrassing you or anything, Abby, but and
No.
it's okay. It was alright.
We needed just to be away from it, to stop and kind of gather ourselves
Yeah.
together. When we got back to Joe's parents' house in Shorewood, I guess my mother's instinct kicked in, and I said, okay, we need to take care of the family. So I asked Jim, can you take us to Walmart? Because
hour and a
we
half,
had
an hour.
the clothes on our back. I was still in my robe and my pajamas.
the realization was what we walked out of there wearing was all that we had.
We knew we would want to go back first thing in the morning to see
and-
the damage and see if there was anything we could save. There were volunteer firemen, and they were going through looking for things that we might want to save. They asked if, is there anything else you want us to look for? And we said, our cat. He was up in the rafters and we don't know where he is. And so they went down in the basement and tried to find Oreo, our cat, for us, and they couldn't find him.
There was just nothing there, and everything was in the fields, and like, those are all my clothes, those are all the stuff I have, and you don't have them anymore, and you don't almost know how to feel. You're sad, but you're also okay because you're okay. It's just, it's not a good feeling in any way.
No. It was maybe 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Volunteers.
And volunteers, and they came from all over. Some were local. They carried what was left of our house to the curb. And Joe and I started looking around again, and I called them, and all of a sudden we heard these meows. And they sounded really sad and, almost moaning, but they were there. We finally got to a point where Joe could reach them, and he pulled them out. And we took him to our vet here in town. That first Sunday after it happened, I knew we had to go to church regardless. And all the girls are like, Mom, we have nothing to wear. I said, you know what, guys? I don't think they're gonna care. They're just gonna be happy that we're there. And we needed to be there, and especially for myself. I needed to be there, and just the warmth of the congregation and just God's love that was shown through them. That was a big pick-me-up. And I knew there was no way we were going to, or that I was going to miss it.
It is strange when somebody prays for you and you're sitting there, and the church is asking for prayers for you. It does feel a little different. And sometimes I'm also sitting there, not thrilled with the Lord for this as well, but in the long run, you really truly do understand the amount of people that are out there that are working for you, who are doing it selflessly. Stepping out in faith for me has been, I suppose, looking at, the insurance company we have here has been fantastic, and we've found an excellent contractor through them, and he's gotten my house back in shape. They've helped us financially, and I think when you talk about having trust or faith, we have, I don't want to say blind, but we had somewhat blind faith and trust. Mm-hmm. Where was that coming from? I had to be somewhere. I didn't know any of these people at all that were on my doorstep. I don't know, maybe as much as anything, it's just the courage and the drive that we've gotten from this. It's brought my family together closer. I can say that before this, I couldn't tell you how many times we sat in the same room and watched TV together. You laugh about this, people as a family laugh, but as you get older, you separate. But I feel closer to my children now than I did.
Realize that you have to be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Because when you don't even have a toothbrush, you're like, oh, this kind of stinks.
Definitely. You're right, Al. Definitely grateful for the things you have, the people you have in your life.
But I think part of that too is just your faith in God, and that He will bring you through anything. And I'm hoping that I've instilled that in our daughters.
Stepping out to faith with me means getting closer to God, and just like thinking about it more often, and just feeling more in faith.
Stepping out in faith for me is the community of God that has kind of supported our family. I feel that He has put these people in our lives to help support us and help bring us back to where we were.
And it's overwhelming. It was probably the hardest thing Renee and I have had to deal with. The financial support that we've gotten from the church has been more than generous, and it's also been hard to just swallow your pride a little bit and say thank you instead of why are you doing this? Why, and questioning it? Why, to stop questioning it is really what a lot of it was, and just to understand that this is how how they believe, and I can't speak for everyone, but even the people that I work with, they believe that they're doing this, and it's from their core belief in their faith that that's how they need to move forward. And I keep saying, no, you can't come to my house and move something. So their next action is, well, I can't help that way, but what I can do is here's a gift card. And please take it, go enjoy a dinner on me, that type of thing. And if I could broadcast this message out to everyone, I can. Then of all the people, I more than gracious and promise to do my best to make sure I move forward and treat others the same way that you treated me. So that's all I get to say. That's all I got to say. That sounds really
No,
good.
and I completely agree with Joe. I think that and it's not just the financial support we've received, but it's the words of encouragement. People continue still to ask us, how are you doing? And on the outside, we're doing good. If you look at our house, people are like, wow, you've got a nicer house than what you had before. You're in a good place. And, in that sense we are, but there's still some emotional scars that are going to take a little time. And at some point when we're 100% back, I want us as a family to step out in faith and do this for other people that may be going through the same thing, or some other, catastrophe that we know nothing about, but know that the money is great, the help that we got financially, but it's also the love and the support of people around you that really make a difference. People are still asking.
Thank you, and please keep asking.
We all survived for a reason. God did it for a reason. He didn't, so we should, like they said, live our life to the fullest and not think about the bad things. Try to think about more of the positive things that have happened.
Let's start living our life a little bit more. Let's be more active in our faith or in our personal lives together, and not take it for granted.